about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix. Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello out there, viewers. It's good to be here right here on Sports Orbit, and it's good to have you watching us on this episode of Sports Orbit, the first for the week. And incidentally, today is Eid al-Fitr, actually, the celebration to mark the end of the 30-day fasting embarked upon by our Muslim brothers and sisters out there. So from Sports Orbit, we'd like to wish all people celebrating the Eid al-Fitr a happy Eid al-Fitr out there. Celebrate responsibly and stay safe out there. And that's how I welcome you to today's episode of Sports Orbit, right here from the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Afa Acho. Salif Usman is not here with me today, but nevertheless, the show must go on. And I promise that this show will be an exciting and refreshing package as always. Of course, in today's episode of Sports Orbit, there's so much we have in store for you, beginning with the NPFL. And the draws for the Women African Cup of Nations are also out, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be starting that one by facing South Africa. Recall that South Africa actually defeated the Super Eagles during the Aisha Bari Cup, and hopefully the Super Falcons will be hoping to gain back their pound of flesh. Also, some interesting matches also went down in the English Premier League, as a lot of us are aware the race for the top 4 is hotting up, and seems like at the end of the day it's going to be between either Tottenham or their North London rivals, Arsenal. That and so much more will give you in the course of this program. First, we'll begin from the home front, talking about the NPFL, where Niger Tornadoes has actually compounded the woes of former champions Kano Pillars by defeating them 2-1 in match day 26 out there in Mina. It's not the best of time for former Nigerian champions Kano Pillars, as they suffered yet another defeat to Niger Tornadoes of Mina in their NPFL match day 26 clash in Kaduna. Actually, the match ended 2-1 in favor of Tornadoes. Veteran midfielder Rabiu Ali called home the opener from a free kick for the same Asugida boys 5 minutes into the match and held on to the lead throughout the first half, but failed to defend it after the break as Jonas Musa Wakili scored the winning goal from the penalty on the dot of 90 minutes for Tornado. So as it stands, not good times, I must confess, for Kano Pillars. Kano Pillars have been struggling, and it's not even getting any better, considering the fact that they were actually banished from their home side. That's talking about the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano, where after playing away from that stadium for a long while, they returned to the stadium. And in the match against Katsina United, there was crowd violence coming from the fans of Kano Pillars, and of course, the LMC had to banish them once again from where they now play their home games in the Moshood Abiola Stadium right here in Abuja. So that advantage teams usually have of banking on home support at this point is completely non-existent for Kano Pillars, and it's not really looking good for them. As it is right now, they are actually languishing at the bottom of the NPF table. What in the short while we'll look at that. We'll look at other matches that also went down also While for Plateau United, Chiefs also suffered a huge setback following a 1-0 defeat to Dakada FC at the Godwill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo at the weekend. Emmanuel Charles netted the winning goal for Dakata in the 61st minute. Recall that Plateau United, coached by Fidelis Ilichuku, have had a fine run in the NPFL, holding that number 2 positions just behind Rivers United, but as it were, they lost that one to Dakada United. Also for leaders Rivers United, it was not a good outing. Also for Rivers United against Kwara United in Ilorin, as Rivers United also lost 2-1 in that one, and that defeat keeps the point at par. Rivers United was hoping that a win after Plateau United stumble would have at least given them a 4-point gap lead. Sorry, a 7-point lead at the top of the table, but they had to. They lost that one. So as it stands, they still top the table with just 4 points. Then in the other side, former champions Eyimba Trash Gombe United also 3-0 right there in about to boost their chances of picking a continental ticket. Remember that the side is being coached by former Nigerian international Finidi George, and it was Chukwuemeka Obioma who fired the People's Elephant ahead on 6 minutes after he set up Mohamed Bilal. Obioma set up Mbaoma for Eyimba's second goal in exactly 15 minutes. In other results, of course, MFM played out a 0-0 draw against Enugu Rangers out there in Lagos. For Remo Stars, they recorded a 1-0 victory over Wiki Stars. And in the other Southwest Derby, it was Sunshine Stars versus Shooting Stars, but both teams finished 0-0 in that one. No winner while for Katsina United versus Aqua United. Katsina United had the upper hand against Aqua United as they finished 1-0 in that one. And of course, in the other match, Heartland FC, who have been struggling all season, were able to get a 2-1 victory over Abia Warriors in that Oriental Derby. And like we said, for Niger Tornadoes, it was 2-1 over Kano Pillars, Eyimba 3-0 over Gombe United, and Dakada defeating Plateau United in that one. But let's take a look at the NPFL table as it stands after match day 26. But of course, so far as it stands, Rivers United are still on top of the table, while Plateau United, despite that defeat, are in second place on 51 points. Remo Stars have come back into the top 4 with 43 points after 26 games, while Rangers of Enugu are on 42 points, followed by Kwara United, who are in number 5th position. Champions Aqua United with 39 points are right there on the 6th position, while former champions Eyimba of Aba, with after 26 games, have 38 points, keeping them at the 7th position. Sunshine Stars of Akure are also, after 25 games, have 1 game at hand, are currently on 37 points. If they get to defeat this one, they actually go ahead of Eyimba to overtake them. And of course, for Gombe United, they are currently in the 9th position, while Wiki Tourists currently round up the top 10. Well, for the other bottom half, MFM not having it so good in this campaign. They are languishing in the 20th position, while heavyweight Kano Pillars, who have done the nation proud and who have been a force to reckon with when it comes to the NPFL, are currently 19th position, while Abia Warriors are also at the 18th position. Not good times, if you ask me, for Kano Pillars. But let's see how the season pans out for them. A couple of matches still to go before the end of the season. And if the results do not continue to improve, I'm sorry to say Kano Pillars might just be dropping down to the lower division. But I hope that doesn't be the case this time around, as it won't go well for the side. Also, away from that now too, of course, the draws for the African Women Cup of Nations set to hold in Morocco are out, and the Super Eagles are not in an easy draw at all. The Super Eagles are in Group C, which has South Africa, Burundi, and Botswana, while for Group A, we have host Morocco, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and also Uganda. Group B has Cameroon, Zambia, Tunisia, and Togo. Of course, the Super Falcons will be beginning that campaign with their first match against South Africa. That's talking about the Bayana of South Africa. The Super Falcons will be hoping to exact some form of revenge over the South Africans. Recall that the South Africans defeated the Super Falcons to win the inaugural Aisha Buhari Cup held right here in Nigeria. That's talked about last year. That competition took place in Lagos, where South Africa actually won the first edition of that tournament, and they did that in style. And of course, what better way to win a tournament than winning it, beating your perennial rivals in the final of that one. So, and looking ahead to that one, South Africa's head coach Desiree Ellis is anticipating a difficult group stage contest when her side square off against Nigeria in the 2022 Total Energies Women African Cup of Nations opening encounter in Rabat later in July. The 7-time COSAFA champions were drawn against the 9-time African champions in the group stage for the 5th time at the draw held in Rabat on Friday, with first-time qualifiers Burundi and Botswana joining them in Group C. In 2018, Bayana met Nigeria in the group stage, breaking their 4-game winless group stage jinx with a 1-0 triumph in Cape Coast, but later lost 4-3 on penalties to the West Africans in the final, following a 0-0 draw in Accra. Although the South Africans avenged their 2018 title loss at the Aisha Buhari Cup, where they defeated the Super Falcons 4-2 to lift the crown, Ellis insists the upcoming group stage meeting will be a very difficult game for the Bayana. In her words, she said, "Well, we always knew the draw was not going to be easy. Nigeria, the defending champions and multiple pool winners, always bring their A game and know what it takes to win," Ellis said in that one. "We have played them a few times in the group stages. They have raised their levels, and we have to raise our levels even higher to get a positive result. The first game is the most important game, and once again, we need a positive result, but it will take a huge effort. Anything that has come before is history, but it has shown us what we are capable of and has given us confidence and belief. And I said earlier, we have played them many times in the group stages, and this will be no different, especially with this being an opening group match, which is similar to 2018. Looking at those draws, it's most likely that 2 teams are expected to qualify from each of those groups. And having Nigeria, South Africa, Botswana, and Burundi, of course, Nigeria and South Africa are declared favorites to emerge from that group. We'll be looking on to that one. That tournament comes up in July, and we'll be keeping an eye on that one. Hopefully, the Super Falcons will be hoping to define their title, as they will be going into that competition as the defending champions of the West African Cup of Nations for women. At this point, we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, there's still so much more we have for you on Sports Orbit. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
All Welcome back from that short break. You're still on to Sports Orbit. Now, on to the EPL, where Lampard's trust in Iwobi pays off as Everton beat Chelsea 1-0 in that game yesterday to keep their hopes of escaping relegation alive. The Nigerian international has been fantastic since Lampard took over, and he put up yet another display in midfield to help Everton claim a hard-fought 1-0 victory against Chelsea at Goodison Park on Sunday, giving Frank Lampard's side a vital boost as they battled against relegation. Everton goalkeeper Jordan Pickford produced several incredible saves to deny Chelsea a second-half equalizer after Richarlison put the home team ahead in the 46th minute. Chelsea dominated possession for much of the game but could not find their way through Everton's defense, who put in a resolute display in Lampard's first game against his former club since he left Stamford Bridge last year. The result puts Everton just 2 points away from safety in 18th place. Chelsea remain third with 66 points from 34 games as they bid to qualify for the Champions League. Of course, right now they are 6 points ahead of 5th place Arsenal, but have now played a game more. We all saw that game yesterday, and interesting encounter, but against all odds, Everton escaped that one. I mean, a lot of watchers of the EPL were not really hoping that Everton were going to spring up a surprise against a side like Chelsea. In fact, after that match, social media was agog with a trend, which the hashtag Charity FC. A lot of people said it looks like Chelsea has become a charity team these days because looks like they've been dashing points, so to speak, to teams who are battling for survival. Recall that during the match they played against United in midweek, United were actually desperate for a win to at least get back into reckoning to the top four, but they couldn't get a win, but they ended that one in a draw. And Chelsea had so many chances of wrapping that game up, but for one reason or the other, their strikers were misfiring, and that ended 1-1. Same for Everton. Some some sections of the fans of Chelsea said that Chelsea actually took the leg of the pedal to actually give their, in order not to embarrass their former legend Frank Lampard, saying that it really wouldn't be a good story to tell if Frank Lampard, a Chelsea legend, will be the one who relegates Everton, a team that has not been relegated for the past 78 years. Shouldn't be Frank Lampard who will make Everton taste their first spend the next season in relegation. So Everton won that one. But in my opinion, I think Everton played well in that game. Yes, Chelsea could have easily wrapped up that game, but it wasn't to be, as they ended up that 1-0. Of course, I will take a look at other results, but before then, of course, Man City coach Pep Guardiola says his team will not crack under the pressure of their relentless title race with Liverpool. City moved back to top of the table with a 4-0 win over Leeds United at Elland Road on Saturday, just hours after Liverpool had won 1-0 at Newcastle United. The two teams are separated by just a point in the Premier League with 4 games remaining, but Guardiola insists his players have won too many trophies to be affected by any end of the season nerves. He said, "We have been in this position. It's not about the pressure. It's simple. We have to win all our games to be champions. If we don't, Liverpool will be champions. The pressure is not too complicated to analyze. They played before. They are going to win all games. We expect that for a long time. All we have to do is win our games. When that happens, they are going to congratulate us. If it doesn't happen, we are going to congratulate them." City were made to work for the points against Leeds, but in the end, recorded a comfortable win thanks to goals from Rodri, Nathan Ake, Gabriel Jesus, and Fernandinho. Guardiola's team next head to Spain to face Real Madrid in their Champions League semi-final second leg on Wednesday, while Leeds are left facing a relegation battle after they were leapfrogged in the table by Burnley, who won 2-1 at Watford. Leeds boss Jesse March, who is expecting to be without Stuart Dallas for the rest of the season after he suffered a nasty-looking knee injury, said he was happy with the performance against City and was buoyed by the atmosphere generated by the home fans throughout the game. He said, "I wasn't being sarcastic when I said it was the best team against the best club," said Marsh. "I've never seen supporters who love their club so deeply. I feel it on the streets, in the stadium. We are doing everything we can to make sure we stay in the league. We are in for a fight, but we are up for it," Joseph March concluded. Well, let's take a look at the EPL table as it stands so far with 4 games remaining. We're expecting to have a photo finish, as it were, in the EPL. Currently, leaders Man City only lead Liverpool by just 1 point. So at this point, none of those teams will afford to slip up at any point in the course of the campaign. If we have the table, can we have a look at the table so far to get a proper perspective of how most teams will likely finish at the end of the season? Of course, right there is Man City, 83 points from 34 games, while Liverpool, just 1 point behind Man City, have 82 points. Chelsea still firmly rooted at the third position, despite that defeat at Everton, have 66 points, 3 points above Arsenal, who are in fourth place. Fifth place has Tottenham Hotspurs, who have 61 points, 2 points behind Arsenal, and both have played 34 games, while Man United have 55 points, haven't played 1 game more than Tottenham and Arsenal. West Ham are in seventh position with 52 points, 3 points behind Man United, while Wolves are 49 points. Brighton at number 9 position have 44 points, while Newcastle make up the top 10. Well, for the bottom 3 teams, of course, Everton are right there, although Everton still has a game at hand while they remain at 32 points. But as it stands, Norwich, their relegation has been confirmed over the weekend with that defeat they suffered during the weekend. Well, for Watford still struggling. Watford just have 22 points, 10 points behind Everton. And as it stands, Watford might just be relegated in their next game. Once they don't pick up a point in their next game, their relegation also will likely be confirmed. But for Everton, Leeds, Burnley, and Burnley, they all have to keep on fighting to see who eventually drops down into the final positions in the relegation zone. Away from that now, but still onto the EPL, where newly appointed Manchester United coach, who is still currently the coach of Ajax, that's talking about Eric Ten Hag, wants full focus on Ajax before his rebuilding job at United, and has asked the Premier League bosses not to bother him in the 48 hours before Ajax game, sources said. Ten Hag has been appointed on an initial 3-year contract to take over at Old Trafford and has already been involved in the key decision ahead of next season. But with Ajax still in the hunt for the Eredivisie title, United officials have been told they should not distract Eric Ten Hag in the build-up to games. Ajax are 4 points clear at the top of the table with 4 games remaining. They have a home game against PSC Zwolle during the weekend and will end their campaign on May 15th with a trip to Vitesse Anthem. For now, Eric Ten Hag insists that he wants to concentrate fully on the job at Ajax. Ajax will be looking to wrap up the season on a high so as to claim their third title under Eric Ten Hag before. And he's saying for now, while he still has a job to do at Ajax, he wants to be fully concentrated, and at this point will not need any form of distraction coming from United. And we hope the decision makers at United will be patient enough to allow Ten Hag complete his job. He still has a long way to go. The preseason will come up where you have a tough time to spend with the players, spend with other top hierarchy of the team to actually perfect his plans of how he intends to bring United back to the top of English and European football. Away from that now to PSG, where Pochettino has reacted to rumors actually of concerning his exit from PSG. Recall that the speculations were high that Pochettino might be excused from his position as PSG coach, despite they winning the French Ligue 1 title. But sources say that their defeat to Real Madrid actually put him. Club bosses are not really happy with his performances. Even though he has wrapped up the French Ligue 1 title, making this his first major title as a manager. But he has come out to say that, well, he's 100% sure that he will still be the coach at PSG next season. Well, let's look at how that pans out. But some sections of the PSG fans have been calling for the return of Zidane to coaching, and they want Zidane to be the next one who will take up the dugout at PSG next season. Well, let's see how that pans out. But for now, no statement has come out from PSG to say if Pochettino will stay or leave next season. Away from that to our final story before we leave the studio, now on to tennis, where number one and tennis player Novak Djokovic is still struggling to return to form. The world number one said that he was still struggling mentally to get back to his best after missing the Australian Open and a chunk of the early season due to his refusal to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Recall that Djokovic missed a chance to be the first person to record 21 Grand Slam titles as he missed the Australian Open. Recall all that controversy, the incidences of he being detained and eventually being deported from the country because he insisted that he was not going to take any of the COVID jabs as he stands. But good news for him, he's back playing. He'll be participating in the Madrid Masters scheduled to start during the week. And of course, for the Wimbledon Open, the All England Club has said that they will allow players who are either vaccinated or not to participate in the Wimbledon Championship. And Djokovic will have a chance to participate in that one, get back to playing tennis. But first, he'll begin with trying to play at the Madrid Masters, hoping to use that as a tune-up game, get back in form, and prepare properly for the Wimbledon Open. Hopefully, he'll be hoping to at least also equal the record already set by Rafael Nadal as the first man to have 21 Grand Slam titles. Recall that Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic and, of course, Roger Federer were all on 20 Grand Slam titles until Rafael Nadal went one step further at the Australian Open, and he now has 21 Grand Slam titles, while Djokovic and Federer are still on 20 titles apiece. Well, viewers, at this point, that is the much we can give you on today's episode of Sports Orbit. Do not forget that tomorrow we promise to give you a more exciting and bigger package on tomorrow's episode of Sports Orbit. Once again, I wish all our Muslim brothers and followers and viewers of this program a happy Eid al-Fitr celebration. Like I said earlier, celebrate responsibly, stay safe out there, have a nice time, go out, have some fun, share some goodies with your loved ones out there, and generally just thank God for the opportunity to celebrate another Eid. I remain your host, Afa Acho, until I come your way tomorrow with another exciting episode of Sports Orbit. Stay safe out there, and it's goodbye from here.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.